All right, hey everybody, here with Joe Willis with Altair Real Estate Team at Better Homes and Gardens.
Yep, Better Homes and Gardens.
Awesome, man.
We're loving it. We just moved over to the Lehigh location, sort of close to Costco.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome building, awesome location, great place to be.
Close to Costco, that's my love language.
I know, right?
Who doesn't love a good Costco?
That was like the main reason why we moved over
You're right,
there.
okay, it's got to be within a mile of Costco. Yeah, you guys nailed it. And beautiful office, by the way. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, just such a awesome facility. Not only is it beautiful, but just so functional with your different training room downstairs and different things like that.
Yeah, it's awesome for holding big events. Aaron Drussel, our broker owner, just knocked it out of the park. Lindsay Erkenbrack was the designer. She did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And I think it is gorgeous. And I think it's a unique space, and we've got a great venue to come and host parties and events and trainings, and it's been better than I thought. So.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, it honestly, I dare say it's probably the prettiest real estate office I've seen in Utah County.
I'll pass that on to them.
Yeah,
They'll
I know.
that.
I tell her that. I'm like, man, it's beautiful. You guys did a great job with that. What an awesome place to like bring clients and collaborate with your team members and different things like that. So, anyways, yeah, it's good to catch up with you. What's been going on in life? Like, what are you excited about? How's the family? How's everybody doing?
Yeah, the family's doing really well. We had a tough year last year. I had my dad who had some health issues. He's since passed away. And I feel like since then, I feel like heaven's just been like, you guys deserve a really nice time in life. Because right now, it's just, the kids are doing great.
Awesome.
My wife is loving her job. She curates art for the temples for the LDS church, and she's loving that.
That's awesome.
And it's a nice time in real estate. It's a little bit more, relaxed, which has been really, really great.
Yeah.
And there's this like quote in The Office, the show The Office, where Andy Bernard, it's like near the very, very end of the entire show, and he says something to the extent of like, oh, I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left the good old days.
Yeah.
And I feel like right now is the good old days.
Good old days.
I'm trying to really appreciate it. It's been really nice. So it's a good time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
It's so true, right? Like things just go, I for sure this past year have been in such a reflective state of, and I joke with my wife all the time, I'm like, it's probably just me getting older and stuff, but it's interesting. I have learned a lot this last year, and really like mentally and emotionally probably gone deeper than I have thus far in my life about what really matters and what's important in life. And I think some of that just comes with maturity and wisdom and
you have is your daughter getting married or
she's married? Yeah,
she's married.
I know, I've got
Has
one.
that been a long time ago and I didn't even know it?
About a year ago, but it's okay. No problem. It's all good. It sounds like we forgot to give you an invite. My bad. That's on me, not you.
But events like that will definitely make you reflect, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we had her. Adeline got married to Cam a year ago. They're doing great. We love them, right? It's so fun to have them. Gracie moved to Northern Idaho in Coeur d'Alene to play volleyball last summer. So we're down 50% kids in the house, and it kind of rocked our world. I'll be honest. My wife and I this last year, because you're so busy, you're in the thick of it. You're so busy chasing your kids, you're building a business, your family and stuff like that. And nobody prepares you for kids moving out of the house. And even though I couldn't be more proud of those kids and what they're doing, right? Like I couldn't ask for anything more, right? They're not perfect. We're not perfect. But for what they're doing in their life, I just couldn't be more proud. But, you hear people all the time, you probably hear this too, right? Especially when they're little, like, oh, just enjoy it. Like it goes so fast and all this stuff.
It does go fast.
And in the moment, you kind of feel like,
it goes so slow.
Whatever, right? Like, the days are long, but the years are fast or something like that. Yeah. So, what do you enjoy doing with your family? What stage are your kids in? What are the things that you do to connect with your kids?
Let's see. Right. Well, we've been skiing a few times this year. It's the first year where the entire family can actually ski.
Oh, that's fun.
And ski effectively. And so that's been an absolute blast. We've loved that.
It's so fun.
My oldest has gotten really into rock climbing, which has been really fun to see her sort of, develop that talent. And then, I don't know, just playing around with the kids and having a good time in sports and soccer. Like my number 3, I have 4 kids. My number 3, she's really into like club soccer right now.
Oh, fun.
And so you know how that goes,
probably.
Where you're just like, feels like you're at a soccer event every other day.
For sure. Sometimes in other states, stuff like that. The opportunity for kids nowadays is just unbelievable. It's
too much.
Right? It is. It is. Let's double click on that. Like, what are your learnings there? Because obviously it's great to have our kids busy and involved and different things like that. But what are your learnings with that? Because sometimes I agree with you. I think it can be too much.
I think I'm still learning. Because my oldest 2, they really didn't get into anything as intense as my number 3 with soccer. Mm-hmm. And I do love that it's keeping her. The coach was really cool in the sense that he specifically chose girls that, not so much necessarily for the talent, but that he loved the parents and he loved the girls.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think he was
made the cut, man.
Yeah, I know,
you're
right?
You're a good soccer dad. Yeah. They didn't call me.
I know. But I think he's done that intentionally to try and create something for his daughter.
Totally.
And as a result, my daughter's gotten to be a part of this with these great girls and great parents. And so even if she doesn't become a great soccer player, it's been, in that regard, I've really loved it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we're willing to make those sacrifices.
Totally.
But otherwise, growing up, right, like our generation, you could play every single sport. And it was, it just felt so much easier, and like you didn't have to specialize so much. And now it feels like each kid has to specialize in something at such a young age if they want to compete, which is tough.
It is tough. But how do they know what they really enjoy or what they want to do?
They
right?
Still, even like you don't know how physically how they're going to mature and what they're going to look like and what their natural skill set will be tailored to.
So true.
But that's okay.
It's okay. For sure. Yeah, and I've even seen some kids, it seems like, because it feels like in our society, like they have to specialize by age 4 or whatever, right? Like it's probably not that early, but some of that might just be pressure we put on ourselves or whatever and things. But the truth is sometimes I see kids, by the time they get to even like high school level, they're burnt out of the thing, right? Because it's just like, man, I've missed every like birthday party or whatever else because we're traveling for whatever. But I don't know, it's hard to find that balance because there's so many awesome life lessons. Like you're talking about, I think it's so cool that coach like saw a vision greater than soccer's awesome and winning and all that stuff is great, but that he sees like a vision there of like, hey, this is so much more than soccer.
I think for him, there's a greater purpose, and I've really appreciated that leadership and vision that he's provided. So it's cool.
Oh, that's huge. I think that's one thing I've realized too. You always hear the quote, like, it takes a village, and it truly does, right? Like I look at like people who not only have impacted my life over the years and just fun people that you come in contact with and then build relationships, but even down to like our kids, right? Like Gracie, my second daughter who's playing volleyball up at Northern Idaho College, her high school coach was just phenomenal at that, right? Like he was not just a good coach, but he taught her life. And as a parent, I remember one time she came home and he was having the entire team read this book, Chop Wood, Carry Water. You should check it out. It's cool. A really good book. Yeah. But the main principle of that book, and it actually changed my life, is the main principle of that book is it just talks about we're not what we do, right? Like that we're more than what we do. And I remember like I was just so grateful that he had her read it. And then the fact that I picked it up, it's only like 100 pages or whatever. You could read it real quick. But I'm like, man, thank you, Adam, her coach, right? So it's just awesome that we have such good people around us that can.
It's true. We do have great people around us.
It's huge. So speaking of that, kind of along the lines of mentors and stuff like that, one of our core values here at ELEV8 is we believe in people and their dreams. If you look back on your life, like professionally or just life in general, who would you say has been your biggest mentor in your life?
My biggest mentor is my dad, but I don't want to go down the dad route. I think so many people could say that, and I think professionally maybe, Aaron Drussel's been a great one in my life. Mm-hmm. He's our broker and owner over at Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. He's been it's been fun just to watch him and listen to his teachings and see we've spent quite a bit of time together over. It's been like 15 years.
I was going to say back in the Coldwell days and stuff, right? Like when we first met.
And then we actually started BHG together, and then ended up selling to him, and he's just taken off with it. But I've picked up so many things along the way just being around him. So he's a good one. I'm not sure so much just other individuals that aren't necessarily business related, but those personal mentorships have passed on to. I think business itself, there's so many different businesses, right? But the nice thing about real estate, in my personal opinion, the thing that I really enjoy is that I feel like as you become better as an individual, you attract more people.
Totally.
And they want to be, and then they trust you like
For sure.
And then your business grows. And so ultimately, what I've noticed is that as you just lead with a giving hand, and as you try and serve other people, that's how you take care of people. That's how your business grows. You don't even have to necessarily talk business with them in order to get their business. And and then that also attracts wonderful people that you get to work with, and it just makes just the journey and the work so much just more pleasant and great and fulfilling and all that kind of stuff. And so really, I look at real estate as just a way to try and, improve myself and work on myself and become a better person. And then luckily we get to make some money
along the way. Yeah, no, it's so
to support
true.
the family.
Yeah, for sure. No, you're so good at that too. What initially piqued your interest in real estate? How did you get in this industry?
So it's been like about 18 years I've been in the industry.
Wow.
And my dad had a property.
Since you were 12.
Yeah, right. No, so it was my last year. I went to BYU and I got a degree in facilities management, thinking I was going to help my dad with a property management company in California.
Okay.
And then my junior year, I worked with him during the summer, and I hated it. It was like a horrible experience. And I realized I'm not an enforcer. You get to have like a sort of like grit personality, like a gritty personality to be like a really good property management and like somebody that's going to be an enforcer. And that wasn't me. I was more of like a like guide or helper or you know, consultant type. And so I realized I was deep into the program, had my real estate license to manage some properties locally, and ended up realizing I don't want to be a property manager, but I had my license. I started selling my junior year at BYU.
Oh, wow.
And so that was back in like, I think it was like 05, I want to say.
Okay.
And so I got my business up and running just in time for the market to crash.
Yeah, oh yeah. I know we're both in the fetal position, saying 07, 08,
we
right?
met like right around, was it like 06-ish?
Yeah, it was. Like it was just leading up to where the market flipped, right?
That's where we first met. So it's been a number of years. But believe it or not, that was great for my business.
For sure.
So many people were getting out of it, and I was in it to win it. Like I was committed. I wanted to do this, and so it was a great time. It just took a long time to get the commissions with all those short sales and things like that.
Oh yeah.
But it makes markets like this feel like this is
You're like, we got this.
Nothing. This is nothing compared to what it was. So anyway, that's
awesome.
how I got into the business.
No, I love that. I'd love to double click on a couple things there, like and just kind of hear your experience and wisdom. I think it's amazing that at your junior year in college, you had the experience to go and do the property management thing to try it, right? Mm-hmm. Not only that, but you're 3 years into college, and to be able to, you've invested some time, energy, resources, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that you knew yourself well enough at that age to say, I don't want to do this, is actually pretty amazing, right? And so, like, how did you make that decision? That couldn't have been easy, right? Like,
it was pretty easy.
Was
like,
you're just like, hey, I know I don't want to do it. It was that strong.
Yeah, and really, I think I recognized that it takes a different personality type, and also recognized I love my dad to death, as I've already mentioned. But
yeah, for sure.
Like that, I wanted to keep that more of a father-son relationship rather than a working relationship.
Totally. Yep, I can see that.
And that was the only reason why I even got into the property management thing in the first place. So. And my favorite courses were the real estate courses over at BYU, and I enjoyed interacting with people. So it's actually, when I first got into it, I wasn't sure I was going to be doing it long term, but as I got into it, I had some runway before I had to get super serious.
Yeah.
And so I guess it was sort of more gradual rather than me just knowing like, okay, this is what I'm going to be from here on out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the thing that's awesome about our business, right? Like you think about it, you get into real estate, and then there's just different areas of our business too, right? Somebody might start in the mortgage industry. Like years ago, like that was my first entrance was like in mortgage for a brief little period, right?
I didn't know that.
But it's funny how it opens the doors to other areas of the business, right? And here we are years later, and we have the home subscription company and stuff like that. So it's just funny how there's so much opportunity within our industry, right? And I think that's what I love about it. And so, anyways, that's really cool. I think it's really cool that you could say, hey, like I'm going to pivot, right? Even though like I've gone to college, stuff like that. What information or what suggestions, I guess, would you give to maybe somebody that is in their career, whether there's a junior year in BYU where they're almost to graduate in a certain career, or they've been at a job for, say, 20 years, and in their heart of hearts, they're like, I don't want to do this. This is not the right thing for me.
I think just keep an open mind, say your prayers.
For sure. Yeah,
and,
lots of those.
I think the thing that really opens up doors are the people that you meet. And if you're able to network, it's remarkable. It's not what you know, it's who you know. I've seen that over and over again over the years. If you're able to network and meet great people and just build great relationships, it's amazing how many opportunities can come from that. mean, who would ever think that they're going to be starting a home warranty,
Right.
subscription company?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way as a college kid you're going to be like, you know what?
I didn't know these
is what
existed.
exactly. You don't even.
It's true.
You don't even know. Like even like as a college kid, you don't even know what like a title company is or what they do.
Totally.
Right. But you met people along the way. You got your foot in the door in this place, and then the next thing you saw opportunities where there's a need here, and then you just try and fill that need.
Yeah.
And that's probably what you did.
Totally. Yeah.
And
totally.
you've been wildly successful at it. And
you're too kind.
I hope there's somebody that interviews you on how you. I'd love to hear the story of how you
Yeah.
built the business, and because you guys have created something spectacular.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
a fantastic home warranty company and subscription company, and like we use ELEV8 with all of our as much as we can for our buyers and sellers.
For sure. Thank you.
So anyway, I think meet new people.
Yeah.
Keep an eye. Say your prayers. Look for needs. Self-evaluate. Like, what is it that I enjoy doing? Try and be curious and explore those arenas and see what comes of it.
No, I love that. It's for sure. It's conversations I've been having with my children as well, as they're kind of like finding their way, right? Like in college and things like that. And I think if I could go back, right, because you bring up a really good point. Like I kind of happened into this industry really. Like I started at Equity Title. I was a courier, right? I served in LDS mission. I was delivering packages from office to office. I had no clue what title insurance even was.
Yeah.
But it has blessed my life so much.
Yeah.
Like the people that I've met and like just the connections that you make, it really does come down to those connections, those relationships. And it's just so amazing if we're just like open-minded to just like, we try to control things so much, at least I feel like I do, but like, and we should, right? Like we should have goals. We want to like try to better our lives and better the lives of those around us. But sometimes like it's also just being open to like, oh, I didn't see life going this way.
Yeah.
And then I also think that I've learned that it's just God-given. It's never too late, right? Like none of us are promised tomorrow, and I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. And I talked to you as kind of that was going down and stuff. And so it's super fresh, I'm sure, in your world because you've lived that recently. Like we don't know when our last day is.
That's right.
And that's for sure something I felt recently of just like, the importance of relationships, friends, family, neighbors, our children and stuff like that. But I just keep telling my kids like, hey, like keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You don't have to have it figured out right now, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm in my mid-40s and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's definitely something to be said for just being patient, right?
For sure.
And things will come along.
That's a big one. Well, I'm really, really excited to talk about if we could pivot gears or shift gears a little bit. There's a lot of discussion in the marketplace right now, right? With just, and I don't want to get off in the weeds and with NAR lawsuit and stuff like that. But for a while now, like we've heard rumblings of just tech and how tech is impacting our industry. I think it's a great tool, right? Like I know you guys use tech, I use tech. I'm not afraid of it. Like if anything, it helps us be better at what we do.
Yeah.
But there's just rumblings of like adding value. And that's always been a thing in business, right? Like people will pay for what they see value in. But you guys are doing something really, really cool.
Yeah, we're super excited about it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned all this NAR stuff because I think that what we're providing is a way for all of our realtor community to allow give agents an ability to up their game and provide more value to their customers.
100%.
And do you want just to sort of jump in and sort of explain what we're doing?
Yeah, let's do it. I'd love to. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that, right? Like you've got this new, I don't know if you call it a product or whatever, but you've got this plan. You're coming in and you're saying, hey, nobody's doing this in the marketplace.
Yeah.
How can we add value? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so what it is, the company is called Make It Market Ready.
Oh, awesome.
And essentially what we're doing is we're selling convenience, or it's a service. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we partner up with real estate agents. And the idea is we help real estate agents and their clients or their homeowner complete and do all of their pre-market or pre-listing upgrades and updates and make their place look awesome, fantastic.
For sure.
And the end goal is in hopes that the homeowner can sell their home for more money and net more money. The agent can look like a hero because they're bringing in a service that nobody else provides. And one of the keys to the service is that we come in, we have professionals that give you colors that we know work well with the property.
Awesome.
Awesome vendors where we know their stuff is in stock. We can get stuff done quickly. And then the big kicker is that we pay for the work to be done.
This is the part that I was like,
I know, this is what sets us apart, right? This is the
Yes.
thing that sets us apart, is that we pay for all the work to be done, and then the homeowner doesn't have to pay us back until after they close on the property.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and so
Nothing like that out there.
yeah, so really there's so many, as an agent of 18 years, and I've been doing this in my own personal sales for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And time again, what would happen was you'd go into somebody's home, and there's a few different, sellers. There's the seller that's just embarrassed of their home.
Yeah.
And the way that they live and the condition of it. There's the seller that just knows, if I fix these things, I could sell for more, but I don't have the money, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the skill set, the time. I have a full-time job. Super overwhelming. I don't want to track down, subcontractors, which is really difficult. I'm going to get hosed on there and how much they're going to charge me and all that kind of stuff. So what we do is we just bring our team that tries to solve all those problems for them, and we'll do anything from sometimes it's as simple as I've walked in just last week. I walked into a home where the laminate flooring throughout the main floor was all coming up and rippled throughout. Yeah, it all buckled. It looked horrible. And there's no way, this is a first-time home buyer is going to be buying this home.
Right.
There's no way a first-time home buyer is going to come in, be like, I'm going to buy this home with put all my down payment because I've been saving all these years.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have extra afterwards to come in and fix this flooring because you have to fix this flooring to do it. And so this poor homeowner has been sitting on this. It's a nice home, but they've been sitting on this home for weeks and weeks and weeks. And they just can't get it sold. And if they just had the ability to replace that flooring,
game changer.
It would be gone. It'd cost them just a few $1,000s, and they would make so much more and sell so much faster. And so we have that ability to come in, knock that out for them, and then they pay essentially out of their equity, right? There's so many people that have tons of equity in their home after this huge spike in values over the last few years.
Absolutely.
And so they might not have the cash flow at the moment, but we know that they have the equity in the home to pay us back.
That's awesome.
And it could be anything from something as simple as a furnace to replacing a roof to coming in and doing more of a remodel.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a full-blown remodel, then it's a different sort of formula.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's been flooring, carpet, light fixtures,
cosmetic things
staging, cosmetic
to make it look
things,
better.
And then trying to get rid of the warts on the property.
Yeah.
So when you walk through a home, the things that really stand out to somebody will be that flooring, for example, that's a wart. And when you erase that wart, all of a sudden it's like when you're looking at somebody in their face, you see this big nasty thing on their face, and you can't help but look at that stupid.
I'm trying not to look at the wart on your face, but that's all I see right now, right?
It's that's what we're trying to do, is erase all those things.
I love it.
And so when a buyer comes through, they can really focus on envisioning themselves in the property.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
Yeah, and what we do, we don't, even though I'm a real estate agent, I have tons of experience. We don't tell the homeowners that. We really leave it in the hands of their professional real estate agent, and we're coming in as just providing the service that the real estate agent provides essentially.
Yep.
Or partners with us depending on however they want to pitch it to their customer.
Yeah.
And then we come in and knock it out and try and get it done within a couple of weeks, and they're ready to go.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
What an awesome thing. Yeah, I've seen some of your posts online, right?
Yeah.
It's so fun to see the before and after,
Yeah.
and just the difference, right? Because so much of what we do, somebody buying a property and they walk through, we all do it, and envision living here, raising our family here, and all these things. And it's stressful and it's overwhelming. It's all those things. So from a seller standpoint, it's hard nowadays for some people to, even if they have equity in their property, to be able to go get an equity line or whatever it is. That is just all time consuming, overwhelming. And then to have to do the repairs yourself is just too much. So I love it from a seller perspective. And I love then as a buyer, I think of being a buyer walking into a home that's already just ready, right?
Yeah.
It's man, I can see myself living here and I don't have to think about I need to do the floor and I need to paint and all that stuff, because it's overwhelming enough to decide hey, we're going to buy a house. I need a down payment and all these things. So I love that you've come up with a solution, not only just for sellers, but it benefits the buyer greatly as well. And it benefits our markets and our communities.
So I'll tell you two quick stories. One, a couple of years ago, it was $1 million, probably trying to sell for it was $1.2 million roughly. It's down the market for 6 months with an agent. She was unable to get it sold. The inside, it was a very nice home, but there were some weird things about it, the paint was a bright yellow through the entire house.
Yeah.
And it clashed with some of the other finishes inside. We came in, it was simple. We redid the paint, we brought in some staging, and we got that thing sold within so quickly. And the homeowner was so thrilled that we were able to do that. Another story, just recently, just a young couple. They have a little condo. I think they might both be maybe a little bit on the spectrum.
Oh, okay.
They had 5 dogs, I want to say.
Wow.
And when you walked in, it was just a really strong smell of the
pets.
carpet. Yeah, the carpet had been sort of torn up. There was holes in like drywall and things like that. And they needed a certain amount of money, in order to buy the next house that they were buying. And when I came in and ran the numbers, the only people that were going to be offering on that would be investors, people that are looking to flip it or get a great deal so they could put their own, hold on to it. Anyway, it cost us $8,000, and they were able to walk away with, it was a fantastic amount of equity to go and complete their dream of purchasing the next property.
Oh, it's awesome.
And they were so thrilled. And the next buyer was also thrilled with the product they got, because it was like walking into almost like fresh paint, fresh carpet.
Like a brand new condo.
It felt like a brand new carpet. Yeah. Condo. And that condo ended up selling for more than any condo had sold for in that unit for for that entire year.
Yeah.
And so it's just a win. It's a win for the homeowner, a win for the buyer, a win for the the listing agent, and it's a win for us. We feel super proud of the the product that we're able to put out and elevate.
Boom.
Yeah, right now. But bring up the offering of what we can offer as real estate agents.
Totally.
So.
No, I love that. And it truly does. Like, we can joke around or whatever, but I was thinking that exact same thing, like use the word elevate or whatever, but it really does elevate the lives of those individuals that own that condo.
Yeah.
You and I both know, like, especially like if there's 5 pets in there or whatever, right? That's hard for people to overlook.
Yeah.
And it would have brought a different buyer than just, you guys were able to help them $8,000 into the property, make it look basically new. Talk about blessing people's lives, right? And
it's
a
awesome.
Game changer for them, right? So that's incredible. I didn't realize, like, I thought you were only doing it for your team. I didn't realize that this is an offering you're doing for all agents.
Yeah, so we have just been doing just for our team, but we are just now rolling it out to other agents. We've got I went out and got my general contractor's license so I could actually officially do this.
This is awesome.
Yeah, and so we're just now rolling it out. We're still working. If an agent were to hop on and try and Google us, they wouldn't find all that stuff yet. That's part of the things that we're putting together.
You're building it.
But really, we don't want to be public facing. We want to be agent facing.
I love that.
And so we really want to just build the relationships. We're not going to allow any agent to do this, and we're not going to do it with any customer. There's certain things that they have to meet. But we need good agents that we can trust, that know our system, we know theirs, and that we can partner with, that then they know that they can trust us and we can trust them, and we can go team up properly.
Yeah.
So you'll never see like a big huge thing trying to push towards the public.
Sure.
It's just going to be more reaching out to individual agents. And if there's an agent out there that's interested and wanting to find out more, feel free to reach out to me and
see if you guys are a good fit or
see
whatever.
If we're a good fit.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and it goes back to those relationships, right? You've done a great job over the almost 20 years or whatever in the industry, building relationships. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing I think about our industry as well. Like, a couple of things there that come to mind is like, first of all, just like we all need to work together and figure out solutions, right? Like, I love it, right? Like, all of a sudden there's this solution to listing agents and buyers agents out there that helps and blesses their lives, not only their lives, but the lives of their clients.
Right.
And then this becomes an opportunity for you as well to grow an awesome business and also help people along the way, which is always the goal, right?
As agents, like too frequently you see agents sort of feel like they're adversarial, but really when you have a good relationship with the agent, everything goes so much better for all parties involved.
So true. So true. Yeah, it's kind of a principle here that we talk about all the time, right? It's the win-win-win. Like, our ultimate goal is to make sure that our partners win, make sure our homeowners win, and make sure our team wins. And the more we all work on that, like, it's just amazing. That's where the magic really happens.
That's where the magic happens.
Same thing in real estate, right? Like, it's all about those relationships. So how can somebody work with you? What does that look like? Right now, you have relationships with agents, but if somebody wanted to call you, you'll just run through the scenario. They can tell you kind of what the needs are.
So if a client wanted to come to us, to my team, and help and have us work on their home, what we do is we just come over for initial consultation, share with them what it is that we do, evaluate the home, see if it makes sense, and then go from there. Yeah. Then they can pick out a select group of colors and products and things like that, and then sign off, and then we get everything rolling. If you're a real estate agent, just come reach out to me. I'd love to sit down, share with you in detail what it is that we're actually doing, what the product looks like, and whether or not you're interested in working with us.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, maybe one final thought is there's a lot of discussion right now, right, in the world of like, and not just in real estate, but I think it's like front and center right now of our industry and us showing our value, right, to consumers and stuff like that. How did you see this need and then just say, okay, like, I am going to pivot in my business? Because sometimes it's easier for us to think, having lived through probably 07 and 08, you and I have like experienced a pretty rough down market, right? Like, and that like we never forget that. But then all of a sudden, a couple years ago, we're kind of faced with not the same challenges in any way, but market challenges.
Yeah.
How did you see the opportunity and pivot?
Well, I think it took me a long time to actually see what it was that I was actually doing. All I was trying to do is just solve a problem for the homeowner.
Yeah.
And so many of my customers, they would have these warts, and I would just come in and take care of these warts for them, and then they would essentially pay me back at closing.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but I was just I was just sitting there one day, and I felt like somebody just like opened up my head and plopped this idea into it and closed it and said, okay, run with this.
I love it.
So that's what we're trying to do, is like all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, why can't I just take this to other agents, and we have the ability to fund these for them, and
yeah.
And I felt like it would just bring solve problems for our customers. So I don't know, other than that, it just felt like this.
It was time.
Luck. Being in the industry, you subconsciously see these needs, and
Yep.
I don't know.
That's awesome.
It's like probably what you do with home scriptions, right?
Yeah. But it is hard, right? Like I think sometimes it's easy for us to, and change is hard, right? Like even at least for me, like there's times when I'm like, man, I fight it sometimes. The natural man in me sometimes it's just like, hey, I know I need to change.
Yes.
But sometimes it's painful and it's scary too, because some of it's the unknown, right?
Yes.
Like I'm sure as you stepped into it, you had a pretty good idea, but there's always that unknown, like how this is going to work out. But I think the thing I've learned just in business and life, really a lot of it is just taking that first step, an educated and informed first step.
Yeah.
But you just have to step into
tough,
it.
yeah.
Because the truth is, there's been things like in business and in life and at home that I just sit on and like get analysis paralysis, and you get nowhere.
Yeah.
But we just have to make educated decisions and step into it. So I think it's really cool that you guys have stepped into it. Really appreciate you coming in and
thanks for having me.
telling us about it. It's super cool. I think talk about like adding value and standing out in the market. So congratulations and
thanks,
nothing but the best, wishing you the best and all the success.
We're just
in the world.
trying to do what you guys are doing. So following your way.
There's probably some cool collaborations that we can continue to do and stuff.
There probably is.
Okay, a couple last things that we'll cut probably separately and stuff. Like if you, we talked a lot about real estate today, which is really fun and stuff. But if you're not selling real estate or taking the warts out off of homes and stuff and making them show ready, like where would people find you and what would you be doing?
If I weren't selling real estate?
Yeah. What does Jill like to do outside of like business?
Oh, like hobbies?
Yeah.
Or like what I would do professionally.
No, just hobbies, like things that you like to do that are fun, like
so
things
right
that fill you up.
So right now I'm a middle-aged man with 4 kids who has like rediscovered this love for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I love it. I used to do it like avidly, like 12 years ago for like 3 years. I'd go like every day and loved it. But then life happened, and I recently got back into it, and it's like become this obsession again, and this really fun.
I'm never going to mess with you. I knew that before. You were taking it before.
No,
and I thought,
like
okay.
I said, I'm like this like middle-aged, just like, just for fun, and I'm not very good, but I really enjoy it. So
That's awesome. Okay, one final thought. Tell me your funniest real estate story. Like what was an experience or even like an embarrassing moment that you still look back on and just laugh about?
Oh man. Well, I don't know if it's a funny one, but I had a seller. She asked me to come list her house, discovered that she had a husband who is now in jail.
Oh.
And came time to sell the house, and he's in jail, and so I had to go and actually like go to jail to have him sign the closing documents. And we're up against all our deadlines, and the new buyer is hoping to move in the next day, type of a thing. And the guy in jail, the husband's like, I'm not signing this.
Oh, goodness. So you didn't know at the time of contract, like she or your listing agreement or whatever, she didn't tell you that there was somebody else?
She didn't. I discovered it before settlement.
Yeah, for sure.
But he was on board until it came time to...
Oh, you go to get the signatures. Yes. Like, hey, I'm not doing this.
Basically just holding this whole thing hostage. And he's like, unless I get more money from this, from the split of the equity, I'm not going to sign this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That probably never happened again.
That never happened before.
Like I challenge most people who will watch this to beat that story. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Anyway, and the funny part is that you can only have one visit per day, apparently. And so we had to, our deadline was that day at 5. Otherwise, it was this huge disaster was going to blow up. And luckily,
crazy.
Kelly Erkenbrag, my old broker,
Yeah, Kelly's a stud.
he had some connections over at the prison. It was able
Of course
to go.
he did.
Yeah, I know.
Of course Kelly did.
He was able
That
to
guy
pull some
knows
strings.
everybody.
And he actually was the one that went in and like was able to present the paperwork and strong-armed him essentially into.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he was able to cut like a little bit of a deal and get the deal done for me. But
Oh my gosh,
it worked out.
never a dull moment, and never
Oh, man.
two of the same transactions.
Oh, no.
Adventures in
It's
real
so
estate,
true.
right?
That's exactly right.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming in, Joe.
Yeah.
It's been fun to visit with you
Yeah,
and
thanks
catch
for
up,
having
and wishing you continued success in all that you're doing with your
too.
family and your business and stuff. But
Thanks, Ryan.
just appreciate your friendship. You're
Yeah,
awesome.
you too, man.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.